We live in a world where the study of complexity is becoming more and more prevalent. And the study of complexity is very important. But I think that we're always in a position of danger in relation to the study of complexity. That danger is in mistaking the calculus of complexity for the nature of reality itself. Now, at the fundamental level of existence, of reality, lies the concept, lies the property, I should say, of identity. This is not a concept that we impose on reality. This is a concept that exists in reality. We almost could say that reality is identity. It would almost be an absolutely accurate claim because everything that we call reality is something we identify because reality contains the property, the constitution of identity. Identity states that a thing is equal to itself. A thing is itself. A equals A. We identify a thing as itself. Now, in complexity, we end up discovering all kinds of intricate, nuanced concepts. In quantum mechanics, for example, they discover a complicated notion, property, called superposition. Now, my point here is not to attempt to expound the nuance of superposition, but to just explain that when we discover something like superposition, when we identify it, we say that superposition is itself. We do not say that by superposition we mean not superposition. When we identify something as superposition, we mean that it is superposition. It has definite qualities or properties that are attached to it. A equals A. It has definite attributes that make it identifiable as superposition. Superposition is itself as we identify it. It is not the case that we are saying that superposition is not superposition. So I'm pointing out that identity structures our understanding of the concept of superposition. Every single attribute, every single nuance that is required to make the concept of superposition intelligible results from this process right here. A thing is itself. It is a process of identity. That is how we arrive at the discovery, our understanding of a superposition. We use identity to demarcate and understand, to explain the qualities, to make them distinct, to give the identity of superposition determination. Superposition means superposition. It's not the case that it means not superposition. If every time someone said superposition, they also meant not superposition, they would be stating nonsense. It would be impossible to understand what they were claiming. there would be no meaning within the statement they were making. Suppose that complexity and physics begins to discover properties, entities, aspects of reality where 2 is equal to 1. If this is the case, we are still identifying that 2 is equal to 1. This is still an A. It is still the process of identity. It is still an A. We are not saying that 2 is not equal to 1 in this complex discovery. We are saying that 2 is equal to 1. That is an identity. If we were also saying at the same time that 2 was not equal to 1, then this would be a contradiction and it would not be itself. It would be a violation of itself. What if it gets more complex? What if we discover in complexity, in physics, that 5 is equal to 1? Even more complex. This is still the identity of 5 is equal to 1. This is still the identity of 5, whatever 5 stands for. This is still the identity of 1, whatever 1 stands for. The entire intelligibility of the meaning of this discovery of complexity that 5 is equal to 1 hinges on identity itself. Every single complex discovery that we are making, every formation of complex mathematics, all of them presuppose identity at their core. Otherwise, you couldn't even use a solitary symbol. If A meant B or A meant not A, you would not be able to make any meaning or any intelligibility at all. It is impossible. The reason that I try to make this clear is because in the proliferation of these systems of complexity, people are getting deceived by the discoveries of complexity, say the discovery of something like 2 is equal to 1, and they are therefore saying this is proof at the ontological level that we have bypassed the fundamental property of identity. No such thing has happened. The entire statement itself is framed within identity itself. Otherwise, you would not be making the statement you are. The statement would be the opposite of itself. And that is not what an individual is claiming. This is why Aristotle basically says, the moment you open your mouth to attack identity, you have proved it, because you have to use identity to construct even an attack against identity. When we construct knowledge, we construct it precisely through a process of identity. We multiply the identity to form concepts and to form knowledge. If we look at a tree and we say a tree is a tree, this is not enough to give us knowledge. We must add properties to the tree. So we note that a tree has bark, another identity. We note that a tree has branches, another identity. We note that it has leaves, another identity. We note that it has roots, another identity. The entire process of the construction of knowledge is based on the logic of identity. Identity is foundational even to the most complex discoveries of superposition, even to the most complex discoveries of something like 2 equals 1 or 5 equals 1. These are still identities, because we are not saying that 2 is not equal to 1 if the discovery is 2 equals 1. We are not saying that 5 is not equal to 1 if the discovery is 5 is equal to 1. These are still identities. And even in the most paradoxical logical systems, They are all still structured using what I call fundamental logic. They are all still structured using this concept of identity. It sits at the core. It builds all of our meaning. It builds all of our knowledge. We are not bypassing it at any point unless the thing that bypasses it ends up being more fundamental than identity itself. Maybe that will happen at some point. But right now, that is not the case. Our knowledge is structured through the authority and certainty of this concept of identity.